Hey guys, still Ovan here. Today we're looking at a Spectrum Energetics Utilizer 2.0. Let's get this guy out here and do a quick size comparison. So this is a knife that I have had for probably 6 to 8 months. I've been using it every day as my primary cutting tool at my work. I carry this as my primary tool, and then I usually carry a secondary blade as well. You can see it is nice and compact. Here's your thickness, about the same size as the PMs. Get rid of these guys. So this is made by the guys at Spectrum Energetics. They're a very small machine shop making these custom utility knives. This happens to be their utilizer model. They also have a smaller utility knife size, as well as some other kind of titanium gear and whatnot that they sell. Right now, on this guy, I have it all gussied up with this acid etched Damascus looking blade insert there, and this lanyard, which I made. It's a 9mm that has the tip epoxied on there, which looks kind of cool. Looks just like a bullet. So they come just like this with a lanyard. I'll show you how that works in a little bit. But basically, these guys are out of South Carolina. They do not make a ton of these. Production is slow. And I first got to handle these at Blade 2018. Didn't wind up buying one there. But I custom ordered one over a year ago now. And when it had, it took a couple months to actually come to fruition and get to me. So once it arrived, I've now used it for 8 months, something like that, and I think it's everything that I'm looking for right now in a folding utility knife. So it's got titanium handles, backspacer here. This is their newer deep carry pocket clip on here, but most of them are going to ship with this style, a spaced up pocket clip. That's mostly what you're going to see. So since this guy took so long to get to me, they also sent me along this cool little, I don't know what it is, a knuck thing, / bottle opener, ice pulverizer. So this is something else that they make. This is aluminum coated somehow. I'm not sure what the exact coating material is, but I think it's cool. It's a nice gesture for them to send that along, since I waited for a while for it. But in the grand scheme of things, waiting a couple months for a custom knife, that wasn't too bad. I'm currently waiting on a knife that's been almost over a year now on the waiting. So it's really not that long of a time as far as waits on custom knives go. Anyhow, so I've used this one a lot. I just recently, in the last couple weeks, anodized the pocket clip and the thumb stud, and you can see how the pocket clip, the anodizing is wearing off rapidly around the edges. I was just doing this with 9-volt batteries, just messing around for fun and to match the lanyard. But it's not going to last with how hard I use this. The hardware on there at one point was black, but now it's faded and sort of gotten polished up as it bangs around in my pocket. This side, I don't know if you can see, but it has a little bit of surface rust around the pivot, which I've just kept oiled up. I'm not worried about that. So as far as the construction of this knife, screw goes all the way through the back spacer into the actual body, and this one is not easily disassemblable. Just so you guys are aware, I talked to the makers, and they're like, yeah, you need a press. That's, you know, the pivot and whatnot is press fit in there. So if you have a press, yeah, you can disassemble it, no problem. But I didn't feel like messing with it. But so this one I custom ordered exactly how I wanted it. I think they have some options available just to purchase how they are on their site. Time to time they put those up. Otherwise, you got to custom order it and, you know, wait your time. So the reason I ordered this one like this, I didn't order it. They make them with skeletonization. I didn't want skeletonization because I figured they'd just get more dust and gunk in it. And I also think that it will cut down on the edges, look kind of sharp. And I want to be able to put a bunch of pressure on this guy, because oftentimes I'm cutting things like sheet metal, drywall, ram board, like really heavy duty stuff where I got to put my full weight behind the blade, and ergonomics matter. So I didn't go for their skeletonization. I went full tie slabs. I also didn't go with any anodization because I figured it would just wear off, and there wasn't any point to me. And I was just messing with these. That was sort of just a test run. So that's why I didn't get any custom anodization from the factory. They do some pretty crazy stuff, but I opted out for that. And this model has the flipper. Most other ones you'll see don't have the flipper on it. It'll just look like that with thumb studs. And honestly, the action on this thing, the flipper isn't really a functional flipper. I'll show you how the deployment goes. Basically, that's where your deployment goes to. And then of course you gotta like flick it open with your wrist, which I'm not gonna do into the camera. But, and that is because this is not a bearing detent flipper. It is a dual action, or a dual detent slip joint at the end of the day. So there's one detent here for closed, and there's one detent that opens. You see this, that sort of knob there up top goes in behind the bar, clicks locked, and then you're working on a detent here, and that's what keeps it locked open. This liner lock, which is an addition to the 2.0 model, that is really just a secondary lock. It doesn't actually lock against the titanium, as you can see. When you push past the detent, it's just a secondary safety, so it can't close in your fingers, which is understandable. Even when you're pushing down, you're going to be doing it like this, and there's no way it can close on your fingers. But the reason that I did wind up ordering the flipper model is for that reason, for that guard. When I'm putting a ton of pressure on it, I go down like this. It locks in behind my finger like that, and there's no way that blade can close. And I can put as much pressure on the point as I want without worrying about my hand slipping up and going onto the blade there. So, yep, this pocket clip is definitely an improvement on their older one, and I think this is a liner, I'm just going to call it a liner safety, is a nice addition to this model. So then as far as blade changes go on this guy, these are just your blade stops here, / thumb studs. But this little screw here, this one adjusts your blade tension, so you turn that down, and you can reduce all blade rattle in there, which is nice. And then when this is halfway closed, to undo this, you can see there's the smaller side here. You actually just rotate that down when you want to do a blade change. Pull your blade out, grab another one here. Drop it in there, and it's as easy as that. You got a new blade in there. And of course, you're going to be able to use both sides of the blade. You can swap it when the tip gets dull in this. So another thing that's nice about this blade, why I was drawn to it, yes, it doesn't have a real, hardcore lock like you would expect, but the exposed blade is huge. I use this all the time at work when you've got like a board or something you gotta clean up. You can get really in there, and you just got so much more blade length. Most commercial utility knives give you about that much, which is just really not enough to do a lot of tasks. It really limits you to like only using the tip. This way you can use it almost like a longer pocket knife, like you'd have some belly to it, so you can get in there and really scrape, do what you need to do. So that is something that I really appreciate about this model. This, as far as the lanyard goes here, this is really a leftover from their previous generation. So the previous generation has this built-in holder for a Allen key, which is how you adjust your blade tension and screws there. So this Allen key is secured by this lanyard, so if you take the lanyard off, your Allen key will not stay in there. So usually at work, this is the exact setup as I will carry it. I won't bother with the lanyard or the tool because I have it tuned exactly where I want it. But if I feel like carrying a lanyard, or if gonna have it buried somewhere, I'll throw a lanyard on it and I'll use it that way. So this is the Utilizer 2.0 by Spectrum Energetics. I highly recommend this if you know what you're getting into. It definitely has some quirky things, like it doesn't have an actual lock, like I said. The action on it is not fidgety or smooth, or well, actually the thumb stud opening is great. It's like a nice easy open, and it's tactile, both opening and closing. It's tactile as well. You can tell when it's open, you can tell when it's closed. There's no slop in it like some other slip joints. But the reason I went for this maybe more expensive model than some is because of that extra blade length exposed, and the fact that it's a titanium custom knife made in the USA, which I appreciate. It's very hard to find. This market is really untapped, custom utility knives that are made in the States. So if you guys have any other, if you guys find any other companies out there making something similar to this in maybe a more traditional pocket knife style, like with a lock and a decent action and whatnot, I'll definitely be interested. Let me know down in the comments what you guys have found out there in sort of that custom utility knife world. But so I really like this knife. Not planning to get rid of it anytime soon. It's done really good work for me. You can see it's getting really worn in there. This was stone washed here, and you can see just how polished it is. It's just pocket tumbled, and got some nice big scratches right where the blade is from cutting against hard stuff. So like I said, it's not a super sexy knife, but this is a really good piece of kit. I rely on every day at work. Every day, and I recommend it. If you know what you're getting into, drop the coin and get one. So if you guys like the video, leave a like and a comment down there, and let me know what utility knives you guys are using. I'd be interested to hear. So have a good one.